set eyes on him, my attention was tuned to him immediately, probably because he stood out from the other beings by being the only one of his kind around. His overall appearance is that of some type of goofy-looking, pouched, upright beaver, whose probable personality is that of a larcenous, slobbering, alcoholic sex deviant. Formerly negative opinion of this variable saint among space beavers. A large and obviously disgruntled Toxician pilot appeared and stood glaring at me through his beady snake eyes. Suddenly it dawned upon me that he had come looking for the gift that Question had just given me. As I handed it over, I tried to explain to him that Question had brought it to me, saying, "Go on, Question, tell him that you took the thing, tell him." To which Question replied by making a noise that sounded like, "Threep it, threep it, threep it." The Tark took the thing back and walked away in disgust. I turned around, sorely intent upon strangling that thieving, lying animal. Only later would he weasel his way back into my grudging good graces. "Question, where are you from?" "Kansas City." "And what would a space beaver be doing in Kansas City?" "Drinking good whiskey and playing the blues." "Playing the blues? Ain't you never heard of Sonny Blues Boy Beaver? You are a sick animal. Thank you kindly."
And hello, and welcome to Star Time. We're joined with our wonderful guest, Ronnie, aka Mr. Ronnie Thunder online, who's going to tell us all about this wonderful man here, Riley Martin. And of course, Jasmine's here on the production end. How's it going, Jasmine?
I'm feeling really good.
Very good. Let's shrink ourselves down a bit. Let's bring our special guest up a bit. There we go. And how are you doing tonight, Rusty?
I'm good. Just finished up with dinner. About to put the little one to bed, but got some time to y'all and explain about Riley Martin and the Biavians, and not who the chosen ones are, but who will be considered when they're alive.
Excellent.
I love that.
And I'm going to just adjust your Zoom audio just a hair.
All right.
Yeah. Let me see here. So how are things down? Are you coming to us from Atlanta, I think?
Yeah. I'm in Marietta. It's a suburb of Atlanta. We're locked down. It's starting to get cold.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it. You know, working from home, sitting in prison every day.
Oh, yeah.
What else is going on?
Right. I know. That's why we started a show, for something to keep us sane. Talking about it's Biavians.
Is it? I've always called it Biavians.
Okay.
Or at least that's what Riley calls it. So if you listen to his audiobook on YouTube, he pronounces it Biavians.
Okay, Biavians. Gotcha.
Yes.
Cool. And as some of his beautiful art is scrolling behind us as we speak.
Yeah, those are some of the Biavian symbols, as we'll get to those about how they were uploaded into his brain after he was abducted.
Awesome. Cool. So we have a few housekeeping things we must do first, as we always do. And so to start, let us see here. First, we're going to talk about our sponsor for the week, which is the Penis Garden in the other side of Adirondack Park. Do you know this gentleman here, who I believe, what was his name? Did I put it in my beautiful notes? Jamie Gagne, which is very much a French-Canadian name of Quebecois who lives in America. And wouldn't you know it, why do you think he put up a giant wooden penis in his yard?
Frustration.
Frustration, yes. Loneliness.
Boredom.
Any guesses?
He hopes to be lured into it.
It looks cool.
Yeah. Zoning issues. Apparently, the town wouldn't let him finish a shed or something, and so this was his thing. So normal, kind of. We're in the home of the toilet gardens as protest. So this seems relatively tame. However, apparently this poor soul is having some kind of, apparently it's gone on for long enough that the town is going to charge him with child sex crimes because children can see the wooden penis.
Oh. That's
And-
interesting.
And in a true
If he's got
Quebecois,
I was saying, if he's got the money, he can take that up to the Supreme Court. That's how you get there. It just costs money.
yeah, I mean, I guess that it's likely a lot of guys that get real mad about zoning usually have that kind of backing. Like the guy
Yeah.
at the toilet gardens here was trying to get a Dunkin' Donuts on one of his many properties. Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with this guy. He seems like he wanted a shed, but shed can also mean many other kinds of things, like small house.
Or a shed for sex crimes.
But yeah, he's taking it all the way up as much as he can. And here's actually a close-up, which in the interview he did, he liked to point out that he made a nice vein. I'm all reversed here. But yeah, there's a vein on here. And it would be funny if YouTube then detects that this is a naughty stream.
No, 'cause it's coming out of your head.
Oh yeah. But it does. Oh yeah, it really.
You're a dickhead.
But
Dick in
yeah.
the head.
So it's off of I-87, or as we refer to it, on the way down to Massachusetts where you get weed. So instead of
I
turning
don't refer
left, you
to it
turn
as that.
right.
No, I don't. Continue, sorry.
Or you can call it like the Glens Falls area. I think this is
That's
in
appropriate.
Wilton. So yeah, check it out. I'm sure he's the kind of guy that would love for you to drive by and honk and wave and support.
That's something.
Oh, and there's one other thing which I forgot to add to this list, and I'm going to quickly add this right now, if I have it, because this came up the other day. We had a shopping list. The shopping
Oh.
list is too big. It's too big. Yes. Okay. So,
It's the
oh,
paper is
we can't
beautiful,
even
isn't it?
see it. Oh well.
Gotta move
On
it
the
down.
shopping
up.
list, I gotta rotate it too.
Down, there
If
we
you
go.
can see, the shopping list contained Bussy. And now I finally brought Bussy onto the show because Rusty's display name is currently Uncle Bussy. So,
That's
Jasmine will
not
be
the pussy
pleased.
I was asking for.
Unless you changed it recently.
Am I allowed to tell the entire story of how that became?
Oh, please. Yes.
Oh, okay. So, let me start off by saying that many moons ago, about 15 years ago, and Dave, I think you brought this up at work one day when we worked together, forttrough.com. I worked there, and we would get different things. And so when the Cardi B song "Wet Ass Pussy" came out, I kept hearing the words "ass pussy," and about my time when I was a customer service rep at Fort Trough, and so the word "ass pussy" stuck out to me. Well, a friend of mine who still works there, we were going back and forth on Twitter, and he said the new words are, as you said, bussy or mussy, for man pussy or butt pussy. And so what makes it even better is my 2.5-year-old niece she can't say the word rusty. So she's been calling me Uncle Bussy for about 6 months now. And so
You literally.
after bringing this up, that's all my friends were just like, yeah, that's your name now. You're Uncle Bussy forever. Uncle Bussy is what I get calls from, my 2.5-year-old niece, and it's great. It sucks. And, that's how you get a nickname.
That's amazing.
That is very good. That's pretty good.
It's most better than my office child nickname, which I found out a year ago. And someone relating a story about me, which was, "How was Weirdo today?" "Oh, he's fun."
Oh,
For
but
my
you
office
are a
mate.
weirdo.
I'm like,
that's the problem.
Where did
you
she come up with
are.
that name? She's barely met me.
How could she not know? Look at you.
Uncle Bussy's amazing.
That is pretty good.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
but it sucks too, because my sister is like, "Oh, what's Uncle Bussy doing today?" And I'm like, "Man, y'all can't be yelling that out in the grocery store and stuff like this." But here we are. That's my name.
So, well, Uncle Bussy. Shall we review a little bit of the latest space news before we dive into Riley Martin?
Of course.
Excellent. Let us check out space news.
There's a lot in the news today.
There is. There's a bit. Yeah. All right.
Champagne.
So first of all, apparently they have discovered that there are 2 orbital planes in the solar system. The one that we're all familiar with that has all the lovely planets. And then a second one that a bunch of comets apparently naturally get squished into. It's kind of all it is. They were just noticing a lot of like the comets in the Oort cloud way in the outside of the solar system. when they started plotting their orbits, they all kind of sort of followed a roughly similar track. Not all of them, but a lot of them, the older ones especially. So it seems like instead of just the sun influencing that kind of like evening out of things, the galaxy itself also has some sort of role, and that's called the galactic tides, apparently. So, kind of neat. They're just read a
Are we
thing.
claiming those as a country?
At some point, probably. We did tear up we never signed some moon agreement, funny enough. There's some sort of company, Bunta Vista had a field day with this recently, this weird Australian podcast where they just discussed people trying to buy property rights on the moon and different competing people that sell those rights. There's some kind of weird asterisk in space law where, like, what is it? The governments of Earth, including the US government, cannot claim or make money off the moon, but we fought very hard, apparently, the US, to make sure that companies could, which seemed a silly thing in the 60s. But now...
It makes perfect sense now.
Yeah.
You gotta get McDonald's on the moon.
Yeah, there was a whole thing where you can't claim anything, and now it just... Yeah. If people get sick of getting stuff in the main asteroid belt, just shoot up. That has its own problems with getting there, but... It's funny because they also never really searched that area of the sky nearly as much for, like, near-Earth objects or, like, asteroids or whatever. They're like, no, it's all kind of in, like, this area of the sky, roughly, where the planets are. Maybe a little bit more if we include Pluto and stuff. But now this is sort of like, no, there's, like, a section here to scan for stuff, too. So, potentially neat. This is, like, in a paper, so they might look at it again a few more times, and some other folks are like, nah, that's not actually right, but... It's kind of fun. Also, the graphic looks cool as hell. This is like a Trapper Keeper in 1992 ass graphic. And folks, the planetary scientists that are on the wonderfully named Bepi Colombo mission to Mercury.
That's not a real name.
It's a very European name because it is a European Space Agency. They're sending it to it's a probe going to Mercury.
Yeah, probe.
Yeah. But it's got to swing by Venus a bunch of times to get there, because it's apparently harder to get closer to the sun than away from the sun with space stuff. So what they're doing is they want people on Earth to also be observing Venus if they can. The better the telescope and different weird wavelengths, the better. Like, you can get like near infrared stuff from Venus. These are some examples of people that have checked it out, because they're looking for more life markers, since there's that whole thing last week about phosphine in the atmosphere a couple weeks ago. So, wonderful timing on their part.
Wow.
I do not have a telescope big enough to do it. Perhaps somebody in the audience does. And they found a good use for the stupid Starlink satellites, finally, in fighting fires. So, in a company that I may have worked at long ago, we had to set up satellite internet, which fucking sucked. But it took like an hour, really, to get like a really dodgy connection, which was not good for, say, a game that people may or may not be playing. But according to this article, the person like had that little receiver up there is the Starlink receiver in like an area where they were fighting fires in California. So very good PR move to distract people from whatever weird thing Elon said while high, to give the firefighters a satellite link up. And apparently the guy just set it up in like 5 minutes and it worked. So that's actually pretty cool. So, hey, all right. Though in the article, the guy said it took me like an hours to set up something with like a truck full of equipment and to get a satellite link before. And I'm like, that does not sound like the HughesNet experience to me. But who knows? We did also have a big truck that we were using. And there's a bunch of space launches. There's like a space launch happening tonight, right after this broadcast. And actually, Rusty, you might be able to see this one.
Oh yeah? Where is it at?
It's going off of Cape Canaveral, so depending on how it arcs, you might be able to get a shot at seeing it. But you may or may not be able to. But it's around 9:40 tonight.
Got it. I will be asleep as soon as I get done here, because I'm on that waking up at 5 a.m. stuff.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, no, it's so much fun.
We appreciate it.
No, what's cool about some stuff as far as launches go, I don't know if your viewers know about this, but I have friends who lived on the coast of Georgia, and putting a launch pad on the southern coast of Georgia, north of Jacksonville. It's going to be a satellite launch pad, more for commercial stuff. But
Oh, no kidding.
it's coming, or if it's not already there, I'm not 100% sure about it. But yeah,
Ooh,
that's happening.
nice. You know what's funny is because of that one Futurama episode 2, I'm still totally messed up. I have to like remind myself Atlanta is very far inland. It is not on the coast where it became Atlantis.
You mean the lost
4
city of
hours,
Atlanta.
4 to 6 hours from the beach, depending on which direction you go.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah. So night launches are always fun, and there will be UFO reports in my inbox tomorrow because of it.
Awesome.
It's great. It's easy because it's like, that was a rocket. Unless I don't read the email closely and someone's describing something completely different. I'm like, oops, sorry, I'm an asshole. What else we got here? Ooh. This was, I believe... Oh! I don't know if you knew that they were doing... Like, they're really pushing this whole we're going to land on the moon again with people by, like, 2024 thing. They're, like, hard pushing this. They want it bad. And the budget office today... Or, no, was it the budget... There was an internal report someone kind of brought up. They were like, it's very dangerous doing this very, very fast. Are you sure? Are you sure this is going to be okay? Because they're kind of rushing a lot of stuff to get this finished, and they're probably going to be okay. There's a little note where it's like, this is very fast, and the rocket's not even ready yet. Like, it's getting so rushed that they're still... I don't know if I think they decided not to do this, but they might go back to trying to do this, which is putting astronauts on the rocket the first time they launch it.
Ooh, that's gonna work out fast.
Nice.
So that'll be exciting. But they have tested the escape mechanism several times, I believe. So they should be okay.
I don't know how you escape off a launching rocket, is what.
Oh, you gotta see. That shit is wild. Like, they have new stuff. Like, have you ever seen, like, the rocket and it's got, like, a little tiny... Like, the nose cone is, like, a tiny little thing on the top with, like...
Yep.
That's the thing that's the escape rocket. Those 4 little rockets on the bottom of them will fire and separate that from the main rocket while in flight or as it's exploding. And then if the astronauts have not like had their brains squished by it, they then parachute down to Earth from the capsule's supposed to parachute. So
Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
it looks terrifying. They're like, but they tested it and it usually works, so I don't know. I think they actually used something like that once in Russia and they got out. So they do work. I don't know how often, but hopefully you don't have to test it that often.
I would love to get in a car where the seatbelts usually work.
Yeah, right? Okay. They mostly work. Well, airbags mostly work, especially an old car with airbags.
You get on a plane, it's mostly safe.
Mostly. Flying in the 20s.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Flying in the 30s when you had wicker chairs with a chain on it.
And so many, like, open air collisions, like, they would laugh about it.
Oh, well, what was the one that was like in the Grand Canyon? There was like a massive mid-air collision.
And the comment was like, wow, we're surprised it hasn't happened sooner.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Jasmine knows every airline accident ever.
It's a
Nice.
rich history of death.
So a little bit of thing. My father has a pilot's license. Single engine, little 4-seater that he flies, and so I didn't know about this, but there's a lot more airplane accidents than you think. Like the state of Georgia has 10 or 12 a year. It's just that we're on flat land, so when you crash, you can kind of slow it down, crash into a field. You're not crashing into a mountain or the Grand Canyon or anything else like that. So the survival rate is pretty high. Every once in a while, once or twice a year, you'll hear about someone landing a small plane like that or a crop duster on a freeway. So those things do happen. Yeah. It's not all 747s coming down.
It's just the little ones.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. We're next to a little airport. We haven't seen anything yet. But we had someone a few years ago around here like land their ultralight in the road.
Yeah.
It was on Dare.
I think this is... Oh yeah, and speaking of safe space travel and safe aeronautics, this is actually probably fun. But they're fucking the chicken again of wanting to make a nuclear thermal rocket. So they did a new round of funding for it this week, which cuts travel time in half or whatever to Mars. So
I'm here for that.
yeah, it's fun, honestly. Apparently you can tour. They're called the old version of this is called NERVA. I forget what it stands for. Like nuclear something. It's like a nuclear thermal rocket where it's not exploding out the back, but it's like a reactor heating shit up really fast. And they're you can tour one of the engines in the American Southwest, wherever the test facility was. It might be White Sands or something like that, or Los Alamos. My friend Maya took pictures near one, and it's like huge. They did it in the 60s, and we're like, this is expensive. We'll wait. But they're gonna try it again, so
Nice.
yeah, very fun. And yeah, some observing news. Mars is right next to the moon tonight, and you can actually... And Mars is very bright right now, too. So if you're in, I think, South America, you might actually see the moon pass in front of Mars. Like, if you got a telescope, you can actually watch it dipping behind the limb of the moon, which is always really fun. So... And since Mars is so close right now, and it's going to be getting closer up and brighter, like in the next week or two, in the next week, it's going to get the brightest it's going to be for like 10 years. And if you have a telescope, you'll be able to see actually some detail, like this tiny little polar cap, some of the deserts and stuff. You actually saw some stuff when we looked at it recently.
It looked kind of cool.
Yeah, usually Mars doesn't look great, but like 1 month out of every 2 years, it looks great in a telescope. So... it's a fun time to check it out, or there'll be live streams of it too. I might be able to figure out how to do it on my end. Probably not. I could do the moon, but Mars is a little trickier. But yeah, Mars is in retrograde, which you can always blame the weird news for that. That's the path of Mars. Like, it starts like, its normal path is like this way, and then when Earth gets close to it, it's like passing cars on a racetrack. It then looks like it's going in reverse until we get a certain distance away. And then back it goes. So very fun. And as it goes into retrograde, that's when it's actually the brightest too. So they're kind of tied in like that because it's when we're passing it, literally. Oh, and in fun weird news, there was a UFO sighting in New Jersey last week.
Oh, this was very disappointing.
Do you remember in the Bay when there was the big Zeppelin that would go around?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird, wasn't it?
All the time.
Yeah. It was so strange. It's like, that's not a blimp, that's a fucking Zeppelin.
Yeah, it was just like in the middle of the day, it would just be going across and it'd be good to go.
I was in working in a high rise, and that thing flew right on top of us one day. It was the coolest thing. It was so weird. Yeah. But yeah, this wasn't a Zeppelin though, it was a blimp that everyone thought. It was going to a game. And everyone was like, what the fuck is that?
So disappointed because I figured it was just the cherry on top of 2020 with everything the way it was going.
If they just started landing, I would totally be like, sure, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I got excited for a second, but then I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's a blimp. From being living near the Coliseum too, like, that's a fucking blimp. Just in the day. Look, there's a running light.
For 2 seconds, I was like, maybe it's something cool.
But some people also thought they saw a meteorite in the East Coast, but it was a fireball, a massive one.
Of what?
It's a meteor that just comes to Earth. This is from the Torrid stream. I think this is a little bit of Comet Enki.
That's still kind of cool, I guess.
It's cool as hell.
That's pretty cool. I saw one when I was in the Bay Area. We saw one where the new Niner Stadium is. I used to play softball over there on like a week, and there was one that lasted about 10 seconds, and I'd never seen one that long. And
is that in the middle of the day?
No. This was like 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
Cool. And
it literally just looked like a slow sparkler just going across the sky for like 10 seconds.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was rad.
Those are the kind of things that meteorite hunters like then go nuts and try to actually grab. Understandably. That's like the hunt is on.
Yeah.
You might be able to get a nice little chunk about the size of this. Or bigger sometimes. But yeah. And speaking of UFOs, there was apparently the Japanese Air Force is telling everyone, or at least the Japanese government is ordering all of its pilots to report any UFO sightings, because apparently they have not been doing that. And they're a little annoyed at that. Maybe they're jealous of the Navy, the U.S. Navy getting all the cool UFO news recently.
It's not
I was gonna say
happen.
they
We're
denied
keep
everything,
quiet.
and then in the beginning of the COVID world, they decided it was all true.
Yeah.
Perfect timing.
I know. Why?
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you have now? And I know one person was like, check out how it locks onto it. It's like, oh, that's actually interesting. Maybe it's something like that, or maybe they figured out whose it was, or if it was ours, or if it was perhaps one of Riley Martin's friends.
Oh,
Oh, and there's fun
The
news.
emu?
The emu, yes.
what does it have to do with space?
Oh, nothing. I was looking for fun conspiracy news to start putting in because we're a spooky time for Spooktober.
Oh,
But all the conspiracy sites are Q people now, and it sucks. It's like I just want to see monster stories. You're talking about like getting coded messages in fucking Jello or some shit. I hate it. But like, there was a good emu story today, and had a happy ending. And it turned out the lady was trying to bring her emu to northern Maine to give it to, bringing it upstate to the farm, like but real. And the emu got out. Its name is Kermit. Great name. I'm not sure why it's not Big Bird. She probably has another emu named Big Bird, probably. And Kermit was finally captured after being fed a pear that they plucked from a tree.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, had a pear, calmed down. I guess they might have put it in that truck. It looks like it's pretty official. I don't know, but there are pads on it.
This isn't space news though.
It's a science fiction story once we get invaded by bird people. It's close.
I mean, there are other conspiracy theories going on right now,
Yeah,
actually.
but this one's cute.
Whatever.
Okay, but anyway, let's get into the heart of tonight's episode. Riley Martin and the Coming of Tan.
All right.
Now this is where you get to shine. You are the expert, as indicated by your Chiron.
This is exciting because I'm not familiar with this particular story.
Okay.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of winging it here. I got some highlights here, but basically a little bit about Riley Martin is that he passed away about 5 years ago, but he was a regular on the Howard Stern show. And how I found out about him was when there were still HTML sites on the web, probably 10, 12, 13 years ago. Me and a couple of buddies of mine would look into different conspiracy theories. A lot of times looking at like underground military bases and underground tunnels all over the desert and things like that. When I came across them, one of the amazing things about Riley Martin is his whole package. So his aesthetic, he wears a vest most of the time, along with a headband that really just like kind of tells. Yeah, there it is.
And the walking stick.
Voice,
Nice addition.
Yeah, it's his voice that really tells the tale and tells the story. So I've read the book, The Coming of Tan, along with listened to a couple different interviews, and it's about his alien abduction as a child, and he ended up getting abducted twice, and he wrote a book about it. And so the book's called The Coming of Tan, and this is my copy that Dave's got a picture of up there, and
you've met him.
Wow.
So so he goes through and tells a story. You can actually listen to it. It's on like 16 parts on YouTube. I would suggest that because it's actually really rad that the way he tells the story and everything, because it's kind of like, how to explain Riley Martin a little bit more. If there's the crazy guy that is selling trinkets outside of a mega gas station on a freeway in the middle of nowhere desert that's telling stories, this would be it. And
That was the exact vibes I was getting. Exactly.
with
Although instead of a
conviction.
gas station, it was like a Whole Foods, but continue.
That works too. But yeah, that's a little bit about him and his aesthetic. As we get to the end of this, I'll tell you about how I ended up with symbols and stuff like that. But Tan is the actual name of the alien that abducted him, where he ended up on the Great Mothership.
Okay.
I guess I'll just start with this, like a little bit about who Tan is. So Tan is a Biavian, and as he went to the Great Mothership, these are different Biavian symbols. And so part of the time when Riley was abducted the first time, they put him on a table, and he goes through graphic detail in the book, telling about like what he saw in the actual spaceship. There were some experiments going on with different aliens. He talks, and we'll go through the pictures here, that there's like 6 different types of aliens. But before we get there, I'll just keep rolling on this. At one point, he smokes weed with these aliens. This is what Tan looks like. He's a Biavian. He ends up having sex with one of the aliens. They definitely probe him.
Oh, you got a probe.
Talk shit to them the whole time, too. So him and actually befriend each other and end up busting each other's balls. And the one thing that he talks about is that I believe it's another group of the aliens called the Targs that they're in a constant battle with, or a war with.
These guys right here.
The Tarkesians, but he calls them Targs for short.
That was the pilot that came up to him and grabbed a thing that the other alien gave to him in the intro cartoon, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So the Targs are a lot more aggressive, whereas Tan is just like an explorer that, you know, meets Riley and does his probes and things like that, and befriends him and smokes weed with him. At one point, they give him what's equivalent to, like, you know, a 5-hour energy drink or something like that. So, along with this, the Biavians upload 144,000 of those symbols into Riley Martin's brain.
Oh yeah, the symbols right here. These beautiful things.
Yeah, these beautiful symbols. And so these are just pictures I took from the back of the book, but as we go through, I did send pictures of the symbols that I possess. We'll get to those in a bit. But
awesome.
So part of it is that eventually the Biavians are going to come back to the planet Earth. And if you possess a symbol, because Riley had all these implanted into his brain, and he was drawing them while he was alive and spreading the knowledge and the words of this, is that if you possessed a symbol, you would be considered when the Great Mothership does arrive, because they come to sort of like a Noah's Ark type deal. It's not that they're taking 144,000 people, is that there's only 144,000 symbols, and if you have one, you will be considered. So part of that...
It is not a guarantee of entry. It is merely you have applied.
Yeah, he harps on how you will be considered. So...
Interesting.
My wife and I are in possession of symbols.
So you're considered.
I will be considered when the Biavians arrive. My son, we haven't got him a symbol yet, but I don't know. I know he was giving out symbols. They were still selling symbols once he passed. But I've got another child on the way in January, and I think we're going to end up getting symbols for the both of them. So,
good insurance just in case.
I think I saw.
Yeah. You know, like everyone's just like, well, why not? And I'm like, you know, I like this guy's story. I didn't mind kicking him a few bucks, and when they do arrive, like, I want to be considered. You know.
Yeah. What's that? What's the Leibniz? What's the wager? Is it Leibniz's wager? It's like that, but for aliens here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't want to survive the apocalypse on Earth, but if the Biavians come, you know, I'm down for a wild ride for a bit.
Yeah, honestly, that'd be great. That's like so many science fiction things pull that. They're like, oh, you guys can come on now.
Yeah. Yeah. So we can go through a lot of the different aliens here. So there's like 6 different.
Let's go to the Stygians. You've listened to it, so you know how to pronounce it, sort of, right?
Yeah, well, it's that I've read the book and I listened to his audiobook where he pretty much tells the same thing. So
cool.
I believe he calls these the Stags. And then I don't really have much about, like, he goes into about the Targs and the Biavians being in an ancient war with each other, but not so much the other ones, except that I'll tell more once we get to the other one, though. So yeah, we can go ahead and move on.
Oh my!
Oh, she looks cute.
Is there a name at the bottom of that one?
Oh, let me put this back up here.
I went to school.
There we
Yeah,
go. The
the
Dorians. The Dorians. So I think this may be the one that he had intercourse with, or he saw them having.
Ah, okay.
So
Oh
this.
God, is she a gray?
That does not look like a girl to me.
The book kind of touches on a little bit of everything in that nature, and it's just kind of ridiculous with his commentary being. He reads his own book the same way if you've ever heard any of his commentary on YouTube about anything.
Mhm.
So that's where his voice projects, and his vocal delivery is really great.
Awesome.
So this one's the Niptonians, and he doesn't know much about them,
Mhm.
and that's the next one.
Except they're hot, apparently. Okay, so this is the lady, and then Niptonians. These guys. These are
This is the
big
Niptonians.
boy. Okay.
And so I do believe, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not polished on all this stuff, but that he tells us that he didn't see this one, but this was informed of him from his meeting with Tan.
Tan's like, okay, so these other guys.
Pretty much.
Okay. They look like they like to lift. They're good on the protein. They're watching their diet.
Yeah. I mean, when you're out in space
Hygiene
by yourself
environment.
for a long time.
They get to do the 100 times gravity thing. Okay, we got the Screeds, which do not look friendly.
Yeah, they are not friendly. So these folks are, if you think about the Men in Black movies, that they're the bug aliens.
Oh, like the cockroach.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So these are definitely not nice, and when he even talked about, Tan gets uneasy about them.
Ooh. Damn. Then did he actually meet any of these or no?
No, it's just mainly that he met Tan, and then
Okay.
there was a Targ on the ship, on the Great Mothership also.
Okay, I do like that it's like he meets a guy and then they smoke weed and then the guy tells him all kinds of cool stories about these other dudes he knows.
He basically tells them about all the one thing, and I forget which race it is. So he gets abducted twice by the Biavians with Tan, and then abducted by one of the other alien races there, where I forget which one it is though, but he does get abducted for a third time, and they're not nice to him, and so he doesn't have good things to say about that experience.
I'm betting it's more of a reptilian kind of one. That's usually how these kind of stories go.
Yeah, they totally did. But I was gonna say that one insect one kind of looks like the Observer in the David Huggins book. It's the alien that watches him have sex.
Yeah. Do you know David Huggins at all?
I do not, but let me write that down because I will.
It's a real journey.
It's kind of our unofficial book of the show. I'm probably going to read this at the end of the month for Halloween.
Nice.
He was abducted as a child, but then kept getting abducted and became a painter and painted his experiences, which are
very
in many
erotic,
cases, extremely graphic sexual encounters with a gray alien named Celeste or Crescent.
Oh, Crescent.
Crescent. I'm so sorry, Crescent. And then
if you search alien with big naturals, that's the first thing that pops up.
No shit. That's super...
definitely, this rings a lot of
real.
bells, especially when you said Celeste right there. So it's, I definitely will buy his book and read it one good time.
So it looks like the Screeds like to hang out on his ship too, but just to be big old pervs. Okay, so what do we got here? It's not a cake.
This was an unknown. So it's kind of like in the ship that there's just samples of other things, and so it may not be an alien, but there's just he knew that he wasn't the only one that was like getting probed and things like that.
It's a thing in a jar that they have.
Right. Exactly.
Like that cool ass area in Flight of the Navigator where he gets to take a peek at what's in there.
Yeah, exactly. He shouldn't be looking at that.
Yeah, no. And what do we got here? Ooh, is it an engine of some sort?
Yeah, so these are just like a couple different drawings that he has where he talks about that's the top view of the actual spacecraft itself.
Okay. Neat. Okay, and then we got a
view of it.
base.
There's the craft, and then there's the Great Mothership.
Ooh.
It's the Great Mothership.
That's sick looking. That looks a lot like my base in No Man's Sky. That rules. Mine's not floating.
Yeah.
This is near the Earth's moon. No wonder NASA's trying to get themselves some nuclear rockets.
Exactly.
There we go.
We got to get there, and we got to make sure that we know what's going on with the Biavians.
I do love the cute little flying saucers coming out of it. Those look great.
Yeah.
Very detailed.
Yeah. Oh, what's this here?
So that's the capsule that he stays in, and I believe it's written above there. It's a rejuvenation chamber. It's aboard the mothership.
Mm-hmm.
And then you basically have, it says it's a robot neurosurgeon. So you got the robot on the left, and then they have the Biavian on the right. So the Biavian pilot. So Tan is basically like this guy.
The guy on the right. Yeah,
the guy on the right. Yeah.
And the other one. This is extremely the scene in Empire Strikes Back where you're getting floated in the little. And there's the droid next to him in the tube.
I mean,
Back to tube. That's awesome.
It's a good reference.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. So we got the neurotronic computer.
Yeah. So this is also where they, kind of pull up all their files and everything else to tell him these stories about all the different alien races and what's going on, with the ancient lore and where they've been and what they've done and things like that.
Nice. Oh, is this where you got programmed with all the symbols then?
A few pictures from now, it'll show us that.
Ooh, okay. Oh, what's this gentleman here?
So this one ends up being, this is the royal mate to Shigog, warrior, queen supreme, high commander, Targ Galactic War Force, Targ Wars, from 45,000 BF. Seen on the or archived videotapes of 1975.
I want to see those. That sounds badass.
Well, the best part about it is that when you see these pictures in the book, too, it's also like this was hand-drawn by memory from 1995 when it says that he saw these on tape when he got abducted in 1975.
Damn, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's an older guy, this is when he was a kid.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, kind of flipped a bit, but... Oh,
this is where they're actually implanting the 144,000 symbols into his psyche or into his brain. They're downloading them, and
okay, nice. Okay, so this is the memory implant.
Basically,
this is some good times.
Yeah, and that's where he ends up getting laid on the spaceship.
I like the lights on the bed. It's extremely a 70s Vegas look going on there.
Yeah. Is she wearing an off-the-shoulder cat suit? Because that's fierce.
Well, that's what I always thought. I was like, is she wearing like leopard print out in space? Because if so, if I get abducted, that's what I would prefer.
That's fantastic. And yes, especially if YouTube is going to try to auto-censor this. That is clothes, not her alien skin.
She's riding him like she doesn't need the cash.
Course, there we go. We got him with Howard.
Oh,
yeah, so this is him with Howard. When my wife purchased actually she got me a Biavian symbol. So I'll tell a little bit of story about that. So my wife, I'm gonna give a plug for my wife and why she's the best ever.
Awesome.
Here it is. So I told her about this and how I was just interested in it. And when I looked it up, I figured that these people were like selling these Biavian symbols for like $300, $400, $1,000 or something like that. And I can read stuff off of here, but she basically put in an order, and it was like a $50 for a symbol, and he would hand draw the symbol, but he had to get information from my wife about me and about my background, and so that's where
you got a custom symbol.
Exactly. He would pick it up the 144,000, and then he would write some of this stuff in here, and he asked like questions like, is he a good singer or this, that, and the other? Like so basically it says Paul Russell Brown, which is my name, long life, health, prosperity, and then it tells about me. And given that she told the story about how my internet name is Ronnie Thunder because that's actual nickname that my friends have called me for 15 years and you just can't get away from it. That, you know, when she met me, she didn't know my real name for like 3 or 4 months because all my friends called me Ronnie.
Nice.
And so these are things that he just writes about me. And it's like artist, writer, actor, singer, chef, carpenter, technician, painter, gardener, teacher, salesman, fisherman, comedian, counselor, visionary, theorist, researcher, great spirit. You are of royal, ancient, Atlantean, Sumerian, Akkadian, Egyptian, Scythian, Eurasian, Gladiator, Icelandic, Teutonic, Norse Viking, Ming Dynastic, Highlander, Scot, Saxon, English, Dutch, Celtic, Druid, Germanic, Japanese birth. We welcome your coming again unto this time. And then it says, my Biavian name will be Ozan Krom, which is Royal Prince, Explorer, Scientist, Warrior, Mystic Time Walker, signed Riley L. Martin. And it says, possession of this ancient royal mystic symbol grants you wayfarer status of the highest order. May peace be with you. And then it's David.
That's awesome.
Wow, it's like an intergalactic passport.
Cool.
Pretty much.
For $50?
And it's more useful than an American one now.
Exactly. And he left my wife like 3 different voicemails on an old phone. She kept the phone for a while. There's another one where he sends a thank you letter, and I have both of these like laminated.
Nice.
This is my wife's symbol. So my wife got me my symbol for my birthday in 2012. We ended up getting married in 2015. Actually, tomorrow is my 5th year anniversary or 5-year anniversary.
Oh wow! Congratulations!
Thank you. But one cool thing that I did for my wife, and I brought this here. I got one of those books made about our adventures together.
Oh yeah.
On like Shutterfly or something like that. And in the book, along with me getting her a Biavian symbol, Riley was sick at the time, so it was through like the inventory that he had. It wasn't the full on like self-drawn, just for me symbol. But he picked her symbol, which is why she didn't have the full story on this one right here.
Okay.
Her name at the top and long life, health, and prosperity. And so in the book, this is one of the cutest things ever, but I said, we both got Biavian symbols, so when they arrive, we will both be considered and we can, live forever. So that was sort of like my gift to her earlier in the day on our wedding day, is she got a Biavian for mine.
That's awesome. That's a great wedding gift.
That's really good.
Would you like me to do that?
I mean, surprised me.
Okay.
The best I was able to do for Dave was like a wallet clip that had a really inappropriate drill tweet inscribed on it.
Love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was like the beyond meaningful thing, and there's a video like because we've got like 2 different montage videos from our wedding day, and the one of her getting ready and reading this book and getting her Biavian symbol, all the girls in the room are just like, what the fuck is happening? Because they had no idea. And they were like, oh, Rusty's just being weird again. And she was crying because she knew how fucking serious it was and how awesome it was.
That's so cool.
That is
that's the perfect present.
Yeah. Gifts like that are always important if the person knows.
Yeah. Well, and we got one last one here.
Oh, nice.
And so this is a sweet patch that they sent me.
Ooh. I'm sorry.
As people and couples and everything else have their own little, like quirks and things they bring up and things like that. So when, me and my wife bring up about having Biavian symbols that, when the world's on fire, we know that when the Biavians do arrive, we'll at least be considered. So everyone can understand about what's going on in 2020, but I got other things going on.
You got a backup plan. You're set.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, we're going to do a little quiz that Jasmine has prepared.
Cool.
To test our knowledge of all these different visitors and abductions. So, Jasmine, are you ready? do you think? Jasmine's going to explain the game. Do you want anything more you want to cover about Riley first before we begin?
The only two things I want to say is if I can just brag on my wife a little bit more. Next year, after getting me a Biavian symbol for my birthday, she got me a star in the National Star Treasury or whatever that named Ronnie Thunder Tits and Dicks.
That's so funny.
I can send you the coordinates. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's a fucking keeper. I knew it. Like,
yeah, you really did nail it.
They're like, why do you enable his behavior? And she goes, that's what he asked for, and that's what he wanted. Because I was like, yeah, what if I can get a star named after me? And like, what's the most vulgar thing I can think of? And Ronnie Tits and Dicks is the first thing that popped in my head. And so we have that.
I think I'm secretly best friends with your wife.
I would like to plug is that in Georgia, there's things called the Georgia Guidestones on some weird tripper level things. If you don't know about the Georgia Guidestones, you should look them up. A farmer built these giant Guidestones in the late 70s, and you can go visit them. And there's apparently ancient scriptures all over it. Some say it's aliens, some say it's like druids, some say it's just a bored farmer. But it's a hot spot to stop on motorcycle rides when you're riding through getting lunch. But yeah, look up the Georgia Guidestones. It's pretty weird.
We'll put the links to all these things in the chat too. So everything like we do, we always like try to link up in the notes usually about an hour after the show gets aired. So that'll all be in there.
Nice.
Cool. The Georgia Guidestones. Awesome.
Yes, Georgia Guidestones. If you ever get down here, you'll make sure you go.
Nice. Awesome. Well,
it's neat.
Now we are going to play a little game, and Jasmine is going to tell us the rules.
Okay, you're gonna see like an art image, and you have to basically like link up or name the abduction story that goes along with it. Obviously, this is about the person we just talked about.
Okay.
The image afterwards, I picked the wrong alien. I thought this was one of the aliens that messed around with him, but after you explain, I don't think it's the right alien. But this is just an example. So this is obviously, one of the symbols. Mm-hmm. And the next image is what I thought was one of the aliens because I looked up the name Avian, and this is the first one that popped up.
Let's move the card up here. All right, so next image.
So wrong one, because I thought avian aliens, because there is a race called the avians, and they're bird people.
Oh.
So that's my bad. Next image.
I'm with that too. I will look them up.
Yeah.
They look cute.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So what is this? What are the aliens and what is this abduction experience? David already knows you're cheating.
You may have had a clue.
Sorry, because I don't know.
This is one of the David Huggins paintings from one of his encounters with Crescent.
The alien that watches the bug alien.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, is the bug alien getting down with the dude, or is the...
No, he's there to observe. He has to watch all the sexual sessions for whatever reason.
He sits in the corner and takes notes.
I'm not going to yuck anyone's yum.
He or she or it, we do not know. It is never gendered.
But funny thing is, it did make Mr. Huggins uneasy as well.
For some reason.
But honestly, under that amount of pressure...
I guess Mr. Huggins isn't in the lifestyle.
But he was still able to perform, so that's still impressive. I mean...
Well, especially if he's like a teenager. I mean, you can go through concrete sometimes.
That's true. Good on him for doing that. And this is the next image. Oh, that's what the reference, David Huggins. And this is a gray alien, which I think it was grays.
Oh, so you've got experience and then aliens.
Exactly. So this is the aliens that is associated with that. All right, next image.
Love it.
Thank you.
What is...
You gotta pick an alien or an abduction experience.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
People got abducted by puppy dogs, Lisa Frank puppy dogs?
Yeah, I'd say this is some weird shit. If this is an abduction, Lisa Frank, she's actually an alien, or are the pound puppies from space?
This is actually one of the Bigfoot. They use Bigfoot animal like suits,
robot bodies.
Yeah, that's what that was.
Oh, do you know about this theory that Bigfoot is just a mech that aliens use to visit Earth in?
Ooh.
And there are two varieties.
I'm glad that we brought up Bigfoot. So, my sister, for some reason, loves Bigfoot. Mm-hmm. And when she came to visit me when I was living in San Jose, I can't think of the name of the mountain town, but it's It's over the hill towards Santa Cruz, but it's still in the
Yes.
mountains. And there's on the side of the road, there is a Bigfoot museum that's free. And my sister can't help herself, and they were running like videos on like old Apple computers and like 2000 the 2000 Apple computers. And man in there, he's got a really sweet ass diorama in there, and all of a sudden he mumbles under his breath. He's like, "I got some teeth and I got some scat over there." And my sister, "Oh, that's cool, whatever." And he had some like Bigfoot records from the 70s. And all of a sudden, Leslie goes, "You know this ain't real, right?" My sister. And he looks her dead in the eyes and goes, "I know what I saw out the window that night." And this guy's like, in his face. And my sister just not having a filter and not understanding, people of the like. And she just goes, "Yeah, how long ago was that?" And he goes, "I was 6.
Rules. Oh, so Bigfoot Discovery Museum in Felton. Does that sound right?
Felton, that's what it is. Yeah,
Felton.
it's amazing.
This is where that was filmed, I believe.
I can't
Nice.
believe I never went. Oh.
It was on our bucket list, but we never made it.
There's another one. There's one about an hour north of where I live now in the North Georgia mountains. It's before you get to Blue Ridge, Georgia. I don't have any good stories about the museum or anything. I've been there a few times, but I do remember a few years ago on Twitter, Dave, I think I sent you the one about my hometown area in South Georgia where someone said they saw Bigfoot, and Bigfoot had scuba gear on and came out of the swamp.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
So if you Google Bigfoot Dawson, Georgia, or Terrell County, Georgia, then that will come up from maybe 5 to 10 years ago.
I love it.
Okay.
David's very excited.
Well, I've got a bunch of things to entertain myself later tonight. I can't wait.
Nice.
Okay.
Next image.
What? Okay.
ShrekInAsuit.com.
No.
This is an abduction experience, you said.
Yes.
So we gotta identify the alien. The alien is not Shrek.
No, this is what he drew. This is what he saw.
This is some evil shit. Is this not reptoids or something?
You're right, it is the reptoid.
Oh wait, so we talking what's his face? Reptoid man, David Icke.
Sure.
Okay.
It can be him.
All right. Wait. They blurred out the junk on the reptile man, but not on the human.
Wow. Maybe he doesn't have any genitals. I don't know what the rules are.
Okay, so we got some Mpreg with Sonic and Mario here.
No, this is what the person drew. This is what he experienced. There's no way anybody would take a look at Mario and hook him up with Sonic. This is clearly two aliens in some sort of romantic embrace.
Did some guy get Mpreg in an abduction?
He might have.
I was going to say, I've seen this before, and it was about 20 years ago, and I would click on anything.
So, what's your best guess?
I have no idea.
Jasmine, if you will do the honors.
I can't remember the name of the experience, but this is basically this is his rendition of that particular alien. I forgot the name of it.
And he got pregnant by the alien?
I think he did.
I do not recognize this alien.
Or the other way around. No, it's from the Boonville or something. They're goblin-esque.
Not the Hawkinsville goblins.
No.
This is not Mothman.
No, but it's Mobville. I think it's Modeville.
Moville.
But this is an alien race that somebody experienced long ago.
Alien Mpreg.
You could easily get it mistaken for Sonic and Mario. But that was not the case. I think the person just didn't do a very good job drawing the image. This is a slightly better picture.
Yo, you get a lot of stuff when you type alien Mpreg on the internet. I don't know why I'm so surprised, but
also that you've already clicked on most of these.
No, that's just the custom colors. Purple doesn't mean I clicked on it. Anyway,
Sure.
Next alien.
Sonic's sister.
Rose Chew and Sonic Chew.
No, this is somebody's experience.
Christian Weston Chandler.
No! These are two aliens in a loving embrace.
So someone saw two aliens being nice to each other.
Yes, or there might be getting probed or something.
Whitley Strieber.
Oh, close. This is what Betty and Barney saw.
do not think Betty and
That
Barney
is
Hill
exactly
saw
what they
this
saw.
in 1960.
That's why he had the weird bumps on his genitals afterwards, because when she was done with him, she worked on him too.
So these two then these two then got up afterwards and drew the map of the Pleiades for them or whatever.
Yes.
I don't know. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, with markers.
I'm just going by what I saw when I searched their names, and that's what he drew. Barney drew that. That's what it said in the Google search.
Okay, you're going. All right, well, next one. Let's. Oh my! What the?
Yeah.
That
Tina Turner.
seems like. What's going on? So someone got blessed by God.
No.
No.
That's the alien, and that's the person having the experience.
This is some ancient alien stuff, and if Jesus is an alien,
That's
that
not
is a
Jesus.
fun thread.
Although the image kind of looks like Whitney Houston, I don't think it is her.
I don't know. What do you think, Rusty? What do we got here?
I mean, a lot of people feel that they get touched by God, you know, but it's really aliens most of the time.
The only thing that makes sense. Okay, so what is it, Jasmine?
It's the Nords.
Oh,
How
that
could you not?
does
That was easy.
that. Well, they're blonde.
He decided to get a hair job because he started dating a black woman.
Oh, you gotta up his game a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Like if someone, say, was dating someone for a couple months and got disgusted with their hair and then forced them to go to the local
Look at
hair
the work
salon.
I've done. It's very common.
All right, well, that was the game.
How did I do?
I don't know. We did
Everybody
terrible.
won.
I would
Did
say
we
I
all
didn't get
win?
any of those points.
I'm just saying that's what I searched, and that's what I found.
Well, my God. Look at that internet. Alright, well. Let's go back here. So, do we have any final thoughts for this evening? Now, Riley passed in 2015. The site's still open.
RIP.
You can still get symbols.
You can. I actually
Yeah.
looked into it. It's not that much. I think it was like 40 something.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
40
don't know how
Yeah, actually, it's
he's.
But he's not going to draw them himself anymore, obviously.
Yeah, it's not a custom
custom.
symbol. In looking at a lot of different symbols across the internet, it reminds me of like a notebook in 6th grade. A lot of the that are drawn. You know, you got some eyeballs, you got this cross-looking thing it's scrolling across the screen right now. And he definitely likes pinks and oranges and things like that. But it doesn't look like it looks like he just goes and doesn't mess up or anything, and he just gets ripped or gets high and then, like, you know, remembers what he saw. Throw some pyramids in there and an eyeball, and then you got a Biavian symbol, and you will be considered.
I had a neighbor that liked getting ripped and drawing stuff, doing marker art very similar to this. New Age Vintage on Instagram. Extremely great 90s stuff. Actually, you could probably get some good toys from her for your
Oh
collection.
yeah, I will look
Yeah.
that up.
You may
I'm
have
always in
met
the market
Esther at
for
the old
toys.
apartment, at the old house. She was a little
Nice.
punk girl. She's great. But yeah, very cool. So anything else you'd like to add? Anything you want to promote? Shout out?
No, just shout out to my wife for being awesome.
Aww.
Enabling this type of stuff where I get to do these types of cool things and
Very sweet.
agree with me about things like that. And when all our other friends are just like, what the fuck is wrong with him? She's just like, no, it's cool. He's great.
That's my man.
I
That's
understand
pretty
that.
much it.
What do you mean?
Yep.
Awesome. We'll chat for a couple more minutes. We're going to switch over and give folks a brief outro cartoon,
Perfect.
which has some of Riley's own music.
Nice.
And then, yeah. So thank you so much for joining us, especially
Yeah,
as a busy
thanks
dad.
for having me.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you in a
Yeah.
sec. See you, folks. We'll see you next. Oh, Sunday. Wait, you're going to do your thing. Next Sunday. What's going on?
Next Sunday, I'm
Oh,
going to
yeah.
talk to my friend Navi. Please like and subscribe this, or a kitten will get cancer.
Oh, that's terrible. And then and Friday, we're going to do the Jersey Devil with Matt. So, he is
Nice.
a Jersey
Nice.
expert. And we're going to debate if the Jersey Devil could beat Toxie. Perhaps.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right. Take care, everyone.
See ya.
a shining star.